we form relationships and partnerships, and it works because we're all working for the same thing. That's why it works. I would say that too. So thank you. We have some formal things. There has to be a plaque, does there not?
They're always.
That's right.
If I have holes in walls, they have to be covered.
Well, yeah, no. May I read this?
Please.
Okay, so voila. Department of Veterans Affairs, Office of Research and Development, Exemplary Service Award presented to J.A. Ellen Freedman, PhD, March 2014. This is in grateful recognition of 28 years of service to the Department of Veterans Affairs. Your efforts and extraordinary contributions in the field of health services and rehabilitation research have enhanced the quality of health care for our nation's veterans. Your performance has been in keeping with the highest ideals of federal service. Your personal integrity and concern for excellence have earned this high award for a lifetime of service. Upon your retirement, we recognize your distinguished federal civilian service career and your outstanding contributions on behalf of Americans. North Carolina, where they had moved to, and so when I did some pseudo redecorating and tucked it away, it got tucked away until today. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I should start on,
No.
I've been told I could do the gift. This looks nice. Let's see what we got here.
Let's break it open.
Yeah. Teaspoonful of first, all right?
What year is it, Jay?
I'm waiting for the photo. Yeah, we got it. 2007.
It's a good year, good year.
That'll go down nice. Okay. You got it? Okay.
More wine tasting event.
Yes, another one. Yes. Like, here, I'll do this. It looks like it all wants to come out.
You don't have to fit them back in that bag.
I don't? Okay. Let's see what, okay. There we go. Let's try to get one so everybody can see. Let's try.
If I had known his story, I would have. That would have been hilarious. It has an F.
Is it autographed? Yeah, F.
Yeah, we have the bottom. Yeah,
And
that's
now we
what
can have our
I'm not going to open all of them. So I assume the others are the same. And let's see what we got. Let's see, what is this for? This looks like a gift card.
No.
And $1. It's a gift card. It's showing that on
The backside.
the back side.
The paper is pink.
It's a $300 gift card.
Wow.
Very nice. Yeah, it's got wine on the front. So I guess I'm buying. That's good. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's a few good cards, right? Yeah, we'll hold that.
Jay's staying with you on this trip.
No.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah, he's hard.
So we always can claim, even though Jay ended with rehab, we always claim him as a health services researcher, although I think you were, when I arrived, you were already made the transition. So.
That's probably true.
But Jay was one of those great connectors across offices, and I think his comments today are a good reminder of the importance of getting out of our little silos. And so it was great to have somebody down the hall who do health services research when we were working together on things that brought rehab and health services together. And as everybody observed and commented, Jay always had a great, sense of perspective on things. So he could always step back and have the long vision and not get too caught up in the bureaucracy or the crisis of the moment. So I always appreciated him as a source of counsel. Shirley Meehan was really sorry. She had a babysitting commitment to her granddaughter, which she could not. She tried to get out of and she couldn't. So she sent in some comments and asked that I would read them. And so for anyone who doesn't know, Shirley was the Deputy Director of Health Services, longtime acting director, and you were her, when did you and Shirley overlap? This was after John was...
she was deputy when I started with John, in the
okay.
field, and then when I came to
She
Washington.
started HSR in
Yeah, forever.
So you were back there.
Yeah.
the late 1970s sometime.
Yeah.
So Shirley says, I greatly regret that I was unable to adjust my grandchildren sitting responsibilities to come to Dr. Freedman's retirement. Since I cannot attend in person to share this mixed blessing day, I've asked my thoughts about JB shared. Recognizing my talents do not lay in the humorous area, I'll just strive to share my sincere appreciation of Jay's gifts. VA is losing someone very special in Dr. Freedman's retirement, but anyone who has worked with Jay is aware of his extraordinary mix of insight and skills, which VA was blessed to share for many years. What I always valued most about Jay is that he viewed things differently than I did, and usually he'd let me know about that. He was the one who would tell me when I needed to listen more. He taught me that just getting the job done is not always the only goal. He would get things done, but he would help us all remember the importance of caring for each other too. When we needed to rely on interpersonal skills for greasing the wheels, he was our go-to guy. He was someone I could always count on for understanding group dynamics. Not that I always got or acted appropriately on the message. Shirley was really good at getting things done. I need to go back to her for teaching. I know I expressed the feelings that many of you have worked with you, Jay, over the years in saying thank you and wishing you and Lucia and your sons, Matt and Alex, all the best as you move into the next phase of your life. And I hope we'll always be friends. All the best, Shirley. Thanks.
Actually funnier than she realizes.
Yeah, she was.
Oh my God.
Okay, hi, I'm Howard Smith. I'm Jay's longest friend. I won't say oldest friend. There's some older friends in the room, but Jay and I have known each other since about the 4th or 5th grade. No, sorry, 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old, because we attended the same nursery school together, although we didn't really know each other at that time.
Wow.
I grew up in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and Jay and I lived within walking distance of each other, and we really struck up a friendship in 8th grade at a place called Taylor Alderdice High School in Pittsburgh.
Nobody shakes the dust.
Yes. We went to religious school together and cut class together, as I recall.
Many times.
Many times. We, as I said, we attended high school together, and we both were in a high school fraternity together, right? Remember that?
I do.
Called Pi Phi.
Pi Tau.
Yeah. And we both attended Penn State at the same time. In fact, I think the reason I attended Penn State was that Jay attended Penn State, and I think you went there because of your brother.
And sister.
And sister. So we have a Penn State kind of group there. So today I'd like to share a few things about Jay that you might not know. Nothing too embarrassing, so don't you worry.
Come on.
I know some stuff. Anyway, as long as I've known Jay, he's been a radical. mean, that is absolutely true. It started very young, and I think he's, kind of come along and shown you that at the end of his career as well. And when we were young boys, we both had cork boards in our bedrooms, that old thick brown stuff. And I distinctly remember on Jay's cork board, his room was really filled with anti-Nixon posters and pro-McGovern posters. Stop the Vietnam War and, let's get out of Vietnam, etc. And this was quite different than my cork boards, which were filled with all the memorabilia of my Boy Scout adventures. So I brought some of those today. Just I know there's some Scouters in the room, right? We have some Boy Scout leaders in the room. One, okay. So I'm going to show you this. This is the second part of my story. My merit badge sash. This is my one of the awards I got. This is a very special thing. This was signed by Greenbar Bill, one of the founders of American Scouting. You might be jealous. This is actually one of his scarves, never worn, signed. I'm sure this is worth something on eBay somewhere. On and on and on. My Cub Scout badge, etc. And ultimately, my Eagle badge, okay, which I got. So Jay teased me incessantly about this stuff, okay? The uniform, and the trotting around, and the badges, and on and on and on. I mean, I got really, really teased for many, many years about it. But we managed to keep our friendship, and we got through it. As a young radical, he couldn't understand why anybody would be interested in this kind of organization. And the Boy Scouts is pretty conservative and buttoned up and down, and we were quite different that way. Jay also had a strong interest in music at the time. I remember he had an early version of playlists. He was very proud of his stereo system, and I think he and I built the rack that it all sat on in his bedroom. They didn't have them at that time, and he had a very nice TIAC brand reel-to-reel tape deck, and he would record songs in the orders that he wanted them. He spent many, many hours. He had lots of reels of different tapes. I don't know if you still have those or not. Jay's father, Arnold, owned a men's store in retail partnership with his brother, Saul. So Jay's father and brother were in business, Jay's dad and his brother were in business together in a store in Squirrel Hill called Freedman's Menswear. Just to give you an idea of the proximity, this was half a block from my father's optometric office, literally half a block in this little business district of Squirrel Hill in Pittsburgh. So we were close at home, we were close each other to work. And I ended up working at his dad's store. Starting in 11th grade, I had a job, that was my second job, but I became a young salesman. And I worked there for many years in high school, and after school and on Saturdays, and then also during college, I would come home at holiday time and they would employ me. It was great. In the summertime, I got jobs and stuff. Jay was smart enough not to work for his father. So he didn't go in the store. And as I recall, he wasn't too into the fashion thing. I was much more hip with the fashions and stuff. Still am, apparently. So, Jay's mom, Helen, is her name. She was a stay-at-home mom, and she raised the 3 children in the family. Jay is the youngest of 3. Jay's oldest brother, David, is several years older than us, and I don't remember much. I think when we were becoming friends, he was just about to ship off to college. He's 12 years old. Yeah, so he was kind of gone out of our lives at that moment, so I don't remember him too much. David went to Penn State. I don't know where he went to school, but he earned his PhD, which I think inspired Jay. And he's now living in Switzerland with grown children and grandchildren and a wife in Switzerland. Jay's older sister's name is Janie, and she was a teacher?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And I couldn't remember, she went to Penn State. And she was always a big sister type to me, and she was really a role model for me growing up. I didn't have an older sibling, I have a younger one. And what I remember most about Janie is she was very frank in answering young boys' questions about things that young boys wonder about. It wasn't talked about a lot in my family, but in Jay's family, things like that were talked about. And I revealed today, Jay, I always had a secret crush on her. I've never told you that before, but I always was attracted to this older woman. How much older is she?
She's 7.
Oh yeah, okay. So anyway, I was a little kid and she was an adult. Jay's mom and dad traveled extensively all around the world. It was really a hobby of theirs. And I remember distinctly the house strewn with all kinds of interesting objects from all over the world, and they would come back with more stuff. And this was way before the days of Pier 1. So, I mean, they weren't buying it, you know, downtown. They were actually, or in the suburbs, they were going and collecting stuff. So they were really world travelers. So, a couple stories now. So in the summer of our 11th grade, between 11th and 12th grade, we decided, Jay I think decided, that we're going to take a trip. And he decided we're going to go to Italy. And I think we went to Switzerland. Did we go to Switzerland? Yeah, we went to Italy and Switzerland. Now you have to remember, I had been to West Virginia, Lake Erie, New York once when I was 9, and that's about it. That's where we went. And I don't think you had traveled much either.
I've been to Atlantic City.
Right. I was in New Jersey at the beach with my parents, stuff like that. But this was like a big deal. And I think it was a different time. You know, I think the world wasn't quite as dangerous place. And somehow our parents were convinced that this was okay. And so 2 17-year-old boys got on an Alitalia flight and flew to Rome with our suitcases. I mean, it was interesting that, I mean, I'd never let my kid do this now. So we arrived on an overnight flight to Rome and managed to get in the city somehow and go to our little hotel to check in. And of course, it's 7 in the morning and they say no in Italian, and that your room won't be ready till 4 o'clock or something. So we didn't know what to do with ourselves. So we ended up in a park, beautiful park. I have a picture of it somewhere. I couldn't find it, Jay. And we sat on a park bench. I think we slept, and we were afraid we would lose our suitcases. These were big, heavy things. Blue mine was, and no wheels, and way before backpacks. You know, this didn't occur. So I just remember, you know, going around and schlepping this thing all over. We traveled all around Italy on our Eurail pass. I remember we visited Florence and we visited Venice and I can't remember where else. But I had
Capri. Pardon? Capri.
Capri. We went to Capri? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't remember that. So I must remember because I went on my first honeymoon there with my first wife. Okay, that's a side story. All right, so we stayed went to Venice and we stayed in a little walk up. What's it called, a pension? That's a French pension upstairs. It was, you know, cheap and stuff. And we went into the room and it was beautiful. Opened the doors and we're overlooking the canal, and it was a pretty interesting thing to do. And then we went into the bathroom, and you know, there was the sink and the toilet and the shower, and then another appliance, which neither of us had ever seen before. And we didn't quite know what to make of it, and we turned the water on, and it filled up, and we didn't, you know.
To wash your feet. Anybody knows that. That's what I did the first time.
What'd you do?
Wash my feet.
Wash your feet.
Oh, well, we did more than that. We washed our clothes. This is an absolutely true story. We washed our underwear. We had taken detergent because his parents, you know, fixed it. So we did our laundry. We hung it around the room to dry. Anyway, so that's how we used that particular appliance in the hotel. True, it's true story. All right. So after we graduated high school, as I said, we both went to Penn State, early enrollment, and Jay. In the course of that, introduced me to another friend who's a very dear friend of mine today. His name is Tony Filippelli, and he was my college roommate, and still friends with Tony. I've seen him recently, and Jay and I, the three of us, are buddies. It's pretty neat. So Jay introduced me to another very good friend of mine. Even in those days, Jay was a very skilled communicator, and he got a lot of empathy, had a lot of empathy, and that really served him well with all the young ladies around. You know, he was, I think, way more advanced than I was, and had lots of dates and girlfriends, and he had a good time, I think. I was going to tell you some things about Jay.
It's probably the Boy Scout uniform.
It was. But the girls know eventually the Scouts are good guys. It served me well. All right. Jay graduated Penn State in 3 years on an accelerated schedule and went on, of course, to Michigan and then to Chicago to get his PhD. We kind of lost touch with each other during those years. We knew who each other was. And, of course, he met Lucia during that time, his wife. And others in the room know more about that than I did at that period of his life. And then when Jay started in Indianapolis, he started traveling here for work, and we reconnected. And then when he moved here several years ago now, 7, 8, 10 more. Okay, we've been, you know, together as friends once a month. We get drinks together, and we have a nice time. And so I'd heard most of those stories before, one way or another. It was sort of fun to rehear them. Jay's sons, two sons, Matt and Alex. Matt, he didn't tell you this, Matt graduated from Virginia Tech with a degree in marketing? Marketing, and he works for News Channel 8, very successful at marketing over there. Jay's excited about that. And his other son, Alex, is a senior at Virginia Tech, and he has a dual major in hospitality and accounting.
Accounting and finance.
Accounting and finance, sorry, but he's very interested in hospitality. I think he'll end up in that business doing the financial aspects of it. And to Jay's credit, both those boys are and Lucia too, both those boys are on a great trajectory for life. You know, you can just see that you see some kids, but these boys are going to make it really successful, and it's really due to Jay and his wife, Lucia. Okay, so why is all this stuff up here? So much to my utter amazement, Jay encouraged his boys to get into Scouts when they became of age. I mean, this blew me away, I have to tell you. They called me up one day, and somehow I got into this. I said, "You're kidding me, right?" And as any parent knows, it really takes a lot of parental support for the kid to do anything. Go to soccer, go to ice skating, whatever the kid wants to do, softball, you really have to step up as a parent or it doesn't happen. So I know Jay stepped up. Camping trips, meetings. I think he was on the adult committee. Boy Scouts takes a lot of infrastructure to make it run. It actually is a bureaucracy that tends to work. And we had lots of talks about leadership, and how to influence young boys, because I had the boy perspective. I knew he would come to me and say, "How's this work?" I said, "Well, this is how the troop runs," and it really hadn't changed very much. There's certain structures in the troop and activities in the troop. It hadn't changed very much. So I had perspective from the boys that he kind of lacked because he didn't have it as an adult. I too was a scout leader for 13 years, so I experienced both aspects of this. And Jay went on in scouting to take leadership training, which is called Wood Badge, and it's like it's the Eagle Scout of adults. It's the highest thing you can do in adult training. He got his Wood Badge several years ago.
By the way, I did that with Tim O'Leary.
Really?
He does the scouting too, yeah.
Before I ever knew Tim here, I knew Tim from Wood Badge training.
Can I take a picture, Peter?
Yeah. Oh, it's actually there's video running, so
Oh, okay.
hold it up.
Oh,
You
I
have to hold
screwed
on
up.
that because it's not going to be aimed. So you can hold it. Okay. So where was I? Okay. So Matt and Alex both went on to earn their Eagle Scout badges, which is a big achievement for both boys. And I was honored to attend the Court of Honor for both of them. And when you attend the Court of Honor, you get to stand up behind the boys and get their award. And it's always pinned on by the mother. So Lucia pinned the awards on both boys. It's really a very neat thing. So back, here I get to the point. So back in 1971, when I earned my Eagle, I went out and bought several of these Eagle patches. This is the Eagle patch, it goes on your uniform. And I still have a bunch of these. And I ended up giving one to Matt and one to Alex when they both got their Eagles, as I've done to other boys that I've encountered that got their Eagles. I give them a patch, so it's kind of neat. It's a little different than today's patches, but it hasn't changed all that much. And this is the little card they gave me when I got my Eagle, and it says, I'm certified as an Eagle Scout on September 11th, 1971. And the thing I really want to show you, Jay, is the honorary president of the Boy Scouts at that time was Richard Nixon. All right. All right, Jay. So here we go. So today, I would like to honor my dear friend Jay for being such a great friend and such a for 48 years. I think I calculated as we became adults, probably longer, as I said to you, and for leading such an honorable life, and for always being there when I needed him and others needed him, and they need him a lot. So others have really depended on Jay. And so in recognition of all of that, Jay, today I award you the honorary rank of Eagle Scout. And I want to pin this on you. So I knew you'd come around. It just took a long time. But I'm very proud of Jay, and let's give him an applause for earning his degree. You're welcome. Never thought I'd be doing a scout thing in his retirement. Never, ever.
Are you a radical scout?
No, I'm not. I'm pretty conventional. Oh, he is? Yeah.
I am, and I was.
Don't ask. Oh, he became scoutmaster, too. I mean, I forgot that part. He was scoutmaster of the troop for
2 years.
Yeah, it blew me away, Scoutmaster.
Very philosophical, political, just world kind of view type conversations, and it's been fabulous. And certainly now when I think about it, I realize how much I've missed it. Some of those, even though we still have talked about lots of things, but maybe not with the same frequency. And you've certainly been a special part of my life at VA, and I really consider knowing you has been just a wonderful experience, and one I hope to continue and really treasure. So, good luck.
I'm gonna miss you all.
But that frees you up for things like site visits.
And just have to write that.
Thank you.
They've asked me to do this too. Department of Veteran Affairs Certificate of Appreciation of J.A. Freedman, PhD, in grateful appreciation for your service to the Department of Veteran Affairs, VA, your commitment to excellence and support of staff and colleagues of the Veterans Health Administration, Office of Research and Development reflect the highest ideals of the VA. Your devotion, compassion, dedication to duty have impressed all who have worked with you. Best wishes to you upon your retirement. May this phase of your life be as rich and rewarding as the years you have given to service to our nation's veterans. Signed, she works down in Coral Lawyer. Deputy Under Secretary of Health for Policy and the Service. Jay, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, local.
Washington, D.C., March 2004.
But it's spared no expense.
Signed, Barack Obama.
I don't think so. But okay. Maybe it's Richard Nixon. I don't I don't send, again, I don't send emails. I get up and I go talk to people. And that's how you find out that they're having a bad day. And then you talk to them about their bad day. And then you talk about why you need to talk to them about whatever was in the email, or going to be in the email. And that's how you get work done. And then you can have a nice reunion, you know.